Hey guys, well, it's good to be back, that's for sure. Wow. There's a lot of things that have happened in my life. There's a lot of things that I want to share with you guys. For those that don't know, I traveled to Hawaii, and it was actually my first time traveling, real traveling, like by myself, like going and exploring. And it was probably the highlight of my life because it really changed so many things about me. And I can't even begin to tell you the things that have changed about me after going there and seeing a new way of living and meeting very special people and meeting just all kinds of people, all kinds of philosophies, all kinds of thinking. It's just wow, like I still have trouble putting it into words, and so I choose not to explain the details to people, but I really want to explain the details to you guys in the next few weeks. So this video is obviously to tell you that I am back, and but other than that, like, there's just so much that I want to talk about. There's just so much that I want to speak. There's so much that I want to vocalize that it's like it's really the phase of life where I gotta do this, right? I feel like, you go through phases of life, a phase where you're kind of listening, you're kind of trying to understand, you're trying to grasp some ideas, grasp things about you, grasp yourself. And then there's another phase of life where you're applying what you learned in that process, and it's like ongoing, right? So, and it usually comes with seasons. So, in winter you go deeper, you get depressed, and you experience all those things, and then in the summer you're like ready to expand and go outwardly. And I really feel like the past few months have been a phase of my life where I was just kind of going, like I was just kind of being, I was kind of observing, I was kind of understanding, I was kind of feeling, I was kind of thinking, right? And I feel like at this stage of my life, or at this phase of my life, I want to vocalize what I've learned, what I've faced, and come out, right? Because now it's time for me to come out of my shell and try to help out people, understand more about them, and to really share this connection with you, to share things that I think are very important, more important than what that celebrity did over the weekend, more important than those things that are in the public, really things that don't matter, things that you don't learn from, right? And this is why I think this is one of the best times ever, because we have social media, because we have the internet, to share things that can really hit people so deep. It can really change a lot of things about people by just simply going on YouTube and watching a video. Like, there's so many people and role models that I found through the internet, through YouTube specifically, that helped me change so many things about myself. Now, of course, you could have tons of role models, you could have tons of people that you watch on YouTube, but for you to really grasp and understand what those people are talking about, you need to be going through it. Because if you're not going through it, it's like there's a less chance of you really understanding what they're talking about. So it comes back to feeling. It comes back to being vulnerable and sharing your stories with others, so that the other people that are listening to you that are possibly going through something like that, it doesn't have to be the very same thing, but something where the lesson behind the story, the lesson behind the experience is the same at the end of the day, right? There's lots of lessons in life. There's lots of demons that all of us have, and we need to recognize and accept it rather than shy away from it and try to show off this perfect image on social media, which you're probably seeing, celebrities, people on Instagrams, Insta famous people, people with high status, if you will, display this perfectionism, and not only that, but it's like now you got society and the whole public trying to tell you that these are the standards that you should live by, and your life will be perfect if you get that nice car, if you get that nice job, if you do this or do that. So you're constantly being brainwashed by who you're listening to and who you're seeing, right? If you have people around you, your friends, or you're looking at posts online, using your eyes, you're picking up things, whether it's on a conscious level or a subconscious level. So this is why a lot of these personal development gurus and spiritual teachers tell you to check your surroundings, because your surroundings, everything, what you hear, what your senses pick up from your surroundings, make up who you are, make up your experience, make up your story. And it's really important for people to step up and share their experiences, share their stories. And for me, my purpose in life and my big thing that my big vision is to have a community in where everyone shares these stories and everyone realizes that, hey, there's lots of suffering in life and lots of uncertainty and lots of fear and lots of this and this and that, just lots of discomfort, and can really just help one another and realize that, hey, like, there's a lot of positive things too, you know, what we're sharing together, what we're experiencing together, right? The whole, you know, the whole spectrum of fear and love, the whole spectrum of you know, for you to be able to really appreciate the things in your life, you have to sometimes lose everything in your life. You have to lose the people around you, you have to lose the things around you, you have to lose yourself as a whole in order for you to appreciate everything that will come into your life. And this is one thing, you know, this is an example, you know, an example that really talks about what I'm trying to say here is, let's say you get your heart stomped on, you were in a relationship and you know, that relationship is no longer a thing. You broke off that special bond that you connected, that special bond you created with that person. That alone can either shatter you forever or shatter you in a very deep and intense way, but then get you to really stand up on your feet and become even stronger than who you were before that relationship. And I feel like that's, you know, life is that. If you can see the lessons behind all the experiences, all the suffering, all the bad things that happen in your life, if you're able to just observe the outcome, right? The outcome that this could possibly lead to, and rather than this consequence. So seeing the big picture, seeing the lesson that's out of this story, the lesson that life is trying to teach you. I don't want to say you become bulletproof, but you become a lot stronger mentally, physically, spiritually. Every dimension of your being becomes stronger. You were never weak, right? You might be depressed, you might be anxious, you might be going going through lots of self-esteem issues, lots of confidence issues, but that doesn't define who you are. That doesn't mean that you are those things, right? Maybe in the experience right now, it feels like you are depression, you are anxiety, you are fear, but that's not who you are. That's just something that you're going through, and because of your patterns, because of the way you've done some things in certain ways in the past, makes you think that what's going on in your mind, that's you. And it's not, right? And a big example of that, have you ever listened to something on YouTube, possibly this video? Have you ever came across an old friend, bumped into an old friend? Or have you ever listened to a song and then, even though you're most of the time you're depressed or anxious, you get into this state where you're just experiencing bliss? Because guess what? That's your true nature. Your true nature is to be in that bliss, to be in that state of love, to be in that state of your mind is fixated on one thing and one thing only. And so for you to snap out of your issues in life is to rebuild your connections that's going on up here in your mind, and to really realize that your mind is creating this suffering, your mind is creating this this like really discomfort that's going on in your life, right? Now it's easier said than done, right? I could sit here and tell you, do this tool, follow this thing, follow that, and yeah, sure, they're gonna help tremendously. They might even at some point get you to snap out of those problems that you're having. But until you experience what you're experiencing, you will not realize, or you will not get to a point where you're like, you know what, I'm fed up. I gotta do something about it. If you don't get to that point, you'll always experience depression. You'll always experience anxiety. And then, you know, maybe you meet a partner and then your anxiety goes away and your depression goes away. But guess what? Just because you met someone doesn't mean it fixed your problems. It just means it made your life more bearable, right? But then when they leave you, ask yourself, am I gonna go back to who I was? And if the answer is yes, which is going to be most likely the case, then you'll realize it's like, boy, there's not one person on this planet that can really make me feel more worth forever. At some point, you're gonna lose, you're gonna lose people. That's just part of life. You're gonna lose people, you're gonna lose things. Things are gonna happen to you. Life is in a constant state of motion. Life is always changing. So, the purpose of life, which is what I've been realizing the past few months, which is the reason why I haven't been uploading videos, which is the reason why I've been just somewhere that nowhere to be found, right? Being MIA, is because I've been really thinking about the purpose of life. And I still am thinking about the purpose of life. But I think I have the answer for me. At least something that makes me feel at ease and at peace. The purpose of life is for you to really experience every situation and every moment, to appreciate every little thing, to make the best out of your life, right? And that's the purpose of life. To experience everything, the bad and the ugly, and then the nice thing, the good thing, the bad thing, like experience all of it. And still see the positive light of things, even when they're, the worst. Right? And it's hard to see that at first. Like, you have to go through weeks, months, years sometimes to realize that, holy shit, that was the best thing that ever happened to me, right? If you, break up with your partner, if you drop out of school, if you got kicked out of something, at that time, it's gonna feel like hell. And you're not gonna be able to see the message until later. But once you see the message, then life becomes amazing once again, right? Cycles. That's what I'm seeing in life. Patterns. There's the ups and there's downs, and then there's the ups and there's downs. There's no such thing as perfectionism. Perfectionism is an illusion that the mind creates, right? And I'll give you a quick example of that. Let's say you feel a certain thing about a certain situation that happens. Let's say you feel neutral. Like right now, I'm sitting in my car and someone would walk by and give me the middle finger. Let's say I feel neutral. And then I come back here next week to do another video, and then another person comes by and does the same thing. However, this time, I'm fucking pissed off. I'm outraged by this human being disrespecting me, right? Why is that? It's because there's no such thing as perfectionism. There's no such thing as you being perfect. You will be in certain states of mind, and you'll be in different states of mind in other days. If you can, the whole purpose, or the whole journey of life is for you to really learn how to ease off those feelings and thoughts that make you worry and experience anxiety and depression. So really, the whole purpose of life is to be healthy up here. right? Not just a six-pack and a good body. I mean, sure, strengthening the body, working on the body will help your mind, but it's not gonna solve your mind. It's not gonna solve what's going on up here, right? Because everything starts up here, right? Everything starts in the mind. And when I say everything starts in the mind, meaning any problem that occurs starts with how you expect things to be are and what you think things to be are. Like right now, if I really want, I can focus on the fact that the lighting isn't the most perfect thing right now, and I could get agitated over it, and I could just turn off the camera and be like, fuck it, I'm not gonna do this video today, I'm gonna do it in the day tomorrow, right? But if I choose to focus on, hey, no, I want the message to be as authentic and as spontaneous as possible, let me do it right now. Doesn't matter if it's, there's good lighting or not. It doesn't matter what's going on around me. Like, I need to make it happen, right? So, I mean, I'm still figuring shit out, as I'm sure you are as well. So let's figure it out together. Let's talk in the comments description, in the comment section below. See, I haven't done this for a while, so bear, please be patient with me as I begin to build that momentum once again on this channel. What have you guys been up to the past few months? What has your summer been like? What'd you do in the summer? Right? For me, I went to Hawaii for 6 weeks. It was supposed to be for 2 weeks, but I fell in love with the place, and something in my gut was telling me that, yo, you can't go back to Canada just yet. You need to stay here for a while. And now I realize why. And it's because I really needed to experience all of it to know that, hey, there's still hope. Because let me be honest with you, man, staying here for this long, as much as I love Canada, I do not belong here. And I say this because I've seen what kind of life that I enjoy mostly. I enjoy life here, but I don't crave every single experience. And for me, I feel like the next few years I want to be traveling and I want to be craving experiences all the time, because these experiences will teach me more than any school will ever teach me in the whole world, right? It's through experience, through going through the storms, the shit shows, where you learn the most. Talk to you guys later.